Well, welcome again, everyone, to today's Appraisal Buzz webinar, sponsored by ACI. Smarter Appraising starts here. It's a Workbench live demo where they'll be going into the new UAD and what you can expect. We have Kim Angellone and Evelyn Schallberger talking to us about what appraisers can expect at ACI. Kim, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you get started.
Thanks so much, Jim. You weren't supposed to tell us how many people were here today. Remember, we talked about this. And now my hands are sweaty. So thanks. All right. Good day, everyone. My name is Kim Angellone. I'm the program director at ACI. And just thank you for taking the time to join us today as we explore the future of appraisals together. So let me start with a question. What if the future of appraisals wasn't just about keeping up with change, but about setting the pace? That's what we're here to discuss today with ACI's Workbench. It's a revolutionary platform designed to empower appraisers like you. Before we dive in, I'd like to share a bit about my journey. Nearly 2 decades ago, I started as a broker in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was driven by a passion for real estate, and the 2008 market crash was a turning point. It pushed me to pivot into real estate valuation. And now, as program director at ACI, I'm combining my industry experience with cutting-edge technology to help appraisers navigate a rapidly evolving landscape. So before we move forward, I'm curious, how many years of experience do you have in the industry? I'm posting a poll right now. You should be able to see it on your screen. Love to know. Are you newbie, less than a year, 1 to 5 years? Welcome. 5 to 15 years or more than 15. Are you a seasoned veteran? Let's see who we have on the line. As expected, 88% more than 15 years. I knew it. I knew you guys were going to have me beat. Of course, I shouldn't have expected anything else. 87%. It's changing. Wow. Welcome, guys. We're so honored to have you here with us. Recently, you'll appreciate this story. Recently, a former boss called me up last week and reminded me of George Opelka, ACI's former leader, whose name has become synonymous with ACI, thanks to the relationships that he built across this industry. I'm sure so many of you know exactly who I'm talking about. God love George. And at first, my first reaction was, this isn't George's ACI anymore, right? We have brand new technology. We're forward focused. We're thinking about the future. We're retiring old software and embracing innovation. But then I realized that we are George's ACI. We've been in the appraisal software industry for over 40 years, and now we're staying true to our roots while elevating the appraisal experience. Workbench reflects this balance. It's familiar yet revolutionary. It's efficient yet empowering. The journey to Workbench began with a bold decision. Do we update our existing software or do we start from scratch? And we chose to start fresh. We wanted to create something that not only meets the needs of today's appraisers, but anticipates the challenges of tomorrow. And Workbench is our answer. It's a platform built with the future in mind, ready to adapt and evolve as the industry does. So I'm going to ask a hot topic now. How familiar are you with the UAD 3.6 initiative? Posting a poll. Are you like, what is this? What are you talking about? I've heard about UAD, but I'm not real confident, just kind of putting out some feelers, looking to get some more information. Or do you know all about it and you're ready? Heard about UAD, but not confident, pulling ahead right now at 71%. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, 79%. Okay, that's amazing. That is amazing. I swear it was like this time last year, we polled our appraisers and asked the same question. And it was, what are you guys talking about? What is this? What is this new initiative? Nobody had any idea. And now to see that 77% of the appraisers on today have heard about it, but not quite confident. And that's exactly where you should be. Right. And so great. Thank you for participating. For those of you who are wondering what it is the heck I'm talking about. The UAD form redesign initiative, it is a collaborative effort by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to modernize the appraisal process. It's a monumental shift towards more standardized, data-driven processes, and it's designed to improve data quality, consistency, and usability across the industry. Now, this initiative includes updating appraisal forms to align with current market needs and technological advancements, making them more adaptable to future changes. It is a significant step towards streamlining workflows and ensuring that appraisers can meet these evolving industry standards efficiently. And so at ACI, we built Workbench to not only meet these new standards, but to exceed them while staying true to what appraisers love, that look and feel of traditional forms, enhanced with modern technology. We didn't want to oversimplify the process with just a, fill it out and click next approach, nor did we want to take control away from appraisers with a fully automated process. Instead, we created a hybrid dynamic workflow that empowers appraisers with flexibility and control. It's designed to enhance your experience, not replace it, because we believe appraisers are irreplaceable. Workbench is here to elevate your role, giving you the tools to deliver unparalleled value to your clients. So I think one of the things that really sets ACI and Workbench apart is our dedication to appraisers. This platform was designed by appraisers for appraisers. I'm sure you guys hear that all the time, but we worked very closely with our Innovation Council. They are a group of appraisers from across the country. Shout out to them because they are amazing. We gathered their insights and feedback, and it's their expertise in real world experiences that have been instrumental in shaping Workbench into the powerful tool that it is today. What you're going to see today is not what Workbench looked like a year ago or even a year before that. And it's because of our Innovation Council and their invaluable feedback that they have given us. So speaking of feedback, since April 5th, we've been in beta testing, and every day we're adding more and more appraisers to the program. It has been an unbelievable and incredible experience to just see all of the feedback and collaboration from our beta testers. And we're excited to continue refining Workbench with their input. We're proud to have led the way in bringing this innovation to the industry. So speaking of innovation, let me introduce Evelyn Schallberger, our talented product manager. And together, we're here to show you how Workbench is not just a product, it is a game changer. So we'll start with a short video showcasing the power and potential of Workbench, followed by Evelyn giving you a firsthand look at how Workbench can revolutionize your appraisal processes. We're also inviting all ACI customers to join our beta testing program. We've been in beta since the beginning of April, and we'll continue it all the way up until launch in September. So if you're interested, you want to share feedback, you want to get your hands on our solution early, email us at workbench@aciweb.com. I'll put that email in the chat here in a moment. That's workbench@aciweb.com to get started. All right. So let's lead the way together with ACI's Workbench.
Meet Alex. Like all appraisers, Alex values precision, efficiency, and trust in his work. With Workbench, Alex begins his day by effortlessly creating orders in seconds, ensuring seamless integration with essential tools. The order dashboard keeps everything organized. Property details, fees, and timelines all in one place, tailored to Alex's needs. When it's time for inspections, Workbench provides easy access to listing photos, floor plans, street view, and detailed maps, streamlining the process with advanced data analytics. The Report Builder transforms complex data into clear, compliant reports, thanks to its dynamic workflow. And with Workbench, all documents, images, and deliverables are centralized and organized, enhancing real-time collaboration. From start to finish, Workbench supports Alex every step of the way, empowering him to deliver precise and efficient appraisals. Because appraisers deserve tools that work as hard as they do, ensuring compliance and excellence in every report. Workbench. innovating the future of appraisal.
All right. And with that, Miss Evelyn, I'm going to pass you the keys. You want to show these guys what they're waiting for?
Yes, absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Kim. Hello, everyone. My name is Evelyn Schallberger, as Kim noted, and I am the product manager for ACI Sky Workbench, which we know by now is ACI's web-based UAD 3.6 solution. So briefly, before we dive in, I want to give a little bit of background on me. And that poll did me no favors because most of you blow me out of the water when it comes to experience. However, I do want to set the tone and let you know I've been in this industry for about 14 years now. And throughout my time, my focus has always been the same: to work alongside appraisers, whether it's to sitting with them to listen, to understand the real challenges that y'all face in this industry, but ultimately to help find meaningful solutions. And that's been the heart of my work since day one. And in this role at ACI, that responsibility has not changed. In fact, it's grown significantly. I'm very, very passionate about saying my responsibility is to advocate for appraisers to make sure that your needs are front and center with everything we build. So with that in mind, let me go ahead and show you what we've been working on, all of the exciting things that Kim was highlighting for ACI Sky Workbench. All right. And I would encourage you to expand to full screen so you can get the full effect here as I'm going through. But on your screen, what you're going to see right now initially, again, this is a brand new platform, right? As Kim noted, we had two choices: start from scratch or build on what we had. And so this platform, web-based platform, when you log in, what you're going to see is very different than what you're used to today. So initially, right when you log in, users are going to see all of their URAR orders. Again, this platform is specific at this moment in time to the URAR. So everything for UAD 3.6. Users will see any and all orders pertaining, any and all URAR orders, and then some tools that we've added in here that aren't necessarily specific to 3.6, but we thought they might be helpful for you in here are just being able to refine your list of orders, right? If you come in for the day and you want to know what's new in your pipeline, in your queue, what do you have that's unscheduled? Maybe you've got some inspections to schedule. What do you have scheduled? What's the day looking like? Where are you going? What's the route looking like, right? For those of you that like to plan ahead, maybe start further out, work your way in. What have you inspected already so that you can start to build out your URAR, or maybe what's completed? That way you can go in and download any of the files that you've got in here, store those locally for your work file for you. So again, nice to have features that we've made sure to incorporate into the platform for users. Now, what you're going to see when you log in and you're looking at each of these particular orders, what's displayed here in what we call an order card. So we've got an image, we've got some data, and then we can dive into the order. But at first, let's talk about the image. Where's that coming from? And also all of this data, right? As a First American company, ACI is part of the First American family. We have the luxury of access to one of the nation's largest databases, and we are absolutely integrating those products into our platform for our users to access. So at the time of order creation, the photo that's going to appear here is a street view image of the subject property. The data that's appearing here is going to be public record information that's pulling in from DataTree. Again, that one of the nation's largest databases that's displaying all of this data here for you to use. Now, it's critical to note, we're displaying this data initially to you. You still are in control to tell us that's wrong or that's right. I like it. I've verified that through my process, and I want that to be added into my report. Same with the images. You can override those images later down the road, but we're just pulling it initially for you so you know what to expect, right, when you create the order. What's the subject look like? 3-bed, 2-bath. We are still displaying GLA to users. Now, we know that the GSEs have eliminated this particular data point when mapping it into the URAR, when we're looking at above grade, finished and unfinished, and so on and so forth. So for clarity purposes, we're not mapping that GLA anywhere into your URAR, but it's familiar, right? So we are going to display it to you so you understand, again, what you're getting into for this particular assignment. Okay, so now let's go into the actual order, right? Street view image we've got here. We know the subject property address. I've got some preliminary information down here. This information is all entered in at the time of order creation. The tool to create an order is very simple, minimal entry there, just subject property address, the client lender, and then the purpose for the order is all that's expected there. Then as we dive into the order, you're first going to be taken to the assignment information section. Now, this section is an expanded view of what we just went through, right? So the order ID, which you're entering in for your own records, the fee that you wanted for this particular order, lender, loan type, property valuation. We know all of this stuff already. It's just kind of an expanded view for you here to go through and look at. And when I'm thinking about workflow and what makes most sense, I'm actually going to dive into the subject and market research tab next. And this is where we're going to see a much more expanded view of that data I was talking about. That, again, the luxury of having access to that large database is us showing it to, or providing access to it for our users. So when we navigate over to the subject and market research tab, we're immediately taken to subject insights, where we're going to see that same street view image. I'll talk about what this is here in just a second, but I'm more interested in sharing with you the data points that are over here, right? So we see that same counts, bed count, bath count, GLA, lot size, year built, letting you know where the information is coming from. But then we start to also see a lot more information. Descriptions, full legal and the shortened version, broker remarks, public remarks, if they're available in here. And then all of the subject property data, again, that's pulling in from data tree. So your site and utilities, is it in a flood zone? General property characteristics, what's the property type? What's it, the occupancy type? Any exterior details? What's it made of? What's the construction materials here? Interior information, and so on and so forth. And what I want to also call out here is we're always going to show you what the source is, right? We need that to make sure that one, you know what the source is coming from and you can validate it, but we'll display if it's public record information or if it's MLS information. And not only that, we're going to also display if the two have a discrepancy, right? Again, the idea behind Workbench is we are providing you with the tools. You are choosing if and when to use them. So here you are deciding which one is accurate. I don't override. I'm not, telling it to auto-populate anything for you. You're going to choose what is the correct data point based on the subject property that you're appraising. But we will call it out for you so you can see the difference, and then you'll make the selection and add it into the applicable section of your URAR. So I did kind of go over quickly this little map and what this is, and I said I would circle back to it. So now's that time. Once we've created an order, we know a little bit about it from that order dashboard. Then I dive into more details here in our subject and market research section. Then I can go ahead and start to explore some potential sales for consideration. So clicking on that map or explore is going to take me into a map that I'm going to have my subject property pinned on. And here's where we can start to draw out neighborhood boundaries to take a look at potential sales within the area. So users will have the ability to either use the polygon tool, freehand, radius. In this case, I'm just going to do a very simple polygon tool just to map this out and show you how it's going to generate some potential sales for consideration in here. So one of the biggest bits of feedback that our beta testers have been giving us that we're very excited to also implement into this platform is making sure to have the ability to store these boundaries for future orders, right? We understand that many users are working in the same neighborhoods or, they want to have the ability to reference back a neighborhood that maybe they've used previously. So that is something that we are very excited to implement into the platform as well. And as it generated results here, what you can see are the properties found that, again, potential sales for consideration for this particular assignment, and displaying each of those data points, bed bath count, distance to subject. If you wanted to, you're able to add them in to your grid of the URAR from here. If you don't want to do that because you feel like we're a little early on, I'm still doing preliminary research, I'm actually going to do another search. You can absolutely do that. You can remove them if you add them on accident. We can also refine our filters here, right? This is just kind of default pulling in what's closest based on that boundary that I drew. But there's going to be layers, right? Every property is different. And you may want to, get more granular with that search function there. So you'll be able to do that within the comparables tab of ACI Sky Workbench. And then from here, you'll also be able to import some analytics that we'll have in here just to beef that report up, right? We've heard a lot of feedback from our users. I use graphs. I use a lot of analytics to make my reports stand out or to really tell the full picture and tell the story to the reader of this report, what's going on in this market area. So this is a feature we're very excited to expand on here. Right now, we've got a few examples in here for analytics that can easily be added into your report just with the click of a button. You can go ahead and remove it. Again, if you added it in error, you're not ready to add that in there just yet. But things like median price trend, right? Sales and foreclosures, living area versus sale price. Again, analytics is a component that we're very excited to expand on further for users to be able to have their reports really standing out. So we just went through the whole subject and market research tab. So subject insights, right? Subject property, the data there that we've integrated within the platform, potential sales. We looked at comparables and we're seeing what's in the neighborhood, what's around here. How's this report going to go for me, right? What am I getting into? And then we talked about some analytics. Are we ready to add some of this into our report? Probably not just yet because we want to do some more analysis first. Maybe that'll be a little bit helpful. But we've highlighted these three components. What's next? The next section that I really wanted to show is this files and photos. And it is what it says it is. There's nothing fancy about the name here. This is your repository for all of your documentation that's related to this specific order. Now, you can upload in bulk. You can upload one at a time. You can label everything in here if you've got a purchase contract. If you're using our categories and our labels, it will be helpful for you down the road within your URAR because it will map to the appropriate and relevant section of the URAR. One of my favorite things about UAD 3.6 is the fact that we now have relevant commentary and relevant images within the section, right? So no more massive addendum, no more massive photo addendas that we have to upload. If I have images for the subject section, they go in the subject section. If I have images for the assignment section, they go in the assignment section. So this is where utilizing labels and the categories is really going to help set you up for success as you start to build out your URAR. But you'll be able to preview anything in here as well. If you're just, dumping in some files initially, you can upload again in bulk if you prefer to, remove anything, right? If it's accidentally uploaded in here, you can download the entire file once done as a zip. That way you can store that again locally for your work file. Just makes it really, really easy for you to kind of go through, do what you need to do in here. So that's our files and photos component. The next piece, the most exciting part, is going to be us navigating into Report Builder and Report Tracker. This is where we see the URAR come to life, and it's very exciting. Report Builder is going to be exactly that, where you start to build out your URAR. Now, what we've done here as well, you'll note it, purchase, traditional appraisal, the fee, everything that's listed in here right now. I didn't fill this out just now. I'll add a couple things in here just to generate a PDF later, but I didn't fill that out. That data persisted, right? So that data carried over from me working on this earlier. The order that I created, it saved all of the relevant information, all the fields, and it's going to persist it on the applicable pages or sections. So when I say, I use these terms a lot, data persistence, data carryover or carry back. That means that data is always going into the relevant field or section after you've entered it once. You don't have to fill out the assignment reason 5 times, even though it may show up multiple times throughout your URAR. You're hitting it once and we're telling it you need to apply this to all of the sections that have this field. So if you hear, buzzword data persistence carryover, that's what we're really talking about there. So here we see a perfect example of that data persisted from me being in this report previously, from when I created the order, and it stored all of that for me in here. So one thing that I really love about our workflow, and I know I'm slightly biased, but that I really love about our workflow is that although it's going to show you the order in which sections will appear in your final PDF on our tracker here, our report tracker, this navigation bar, you can navigate to any of them at any point if you choose to. Now, that may mean there's more questions in one section than there should be, right? But you can go to any of them. So if I don't want to finish assignment information, actually, I want to go to subject property instead. I want to start here and I want to fill this out and note that there's no special tax assessments. The property is not in a project, not this, no, yes, I'm responsible, not new construction, right? If I want to go through and fill this out this way, I can absolutely do that. You are not limited to where you start. What we will do is display to you over here within this tracker, just a notification. Hey, this is in progress. You still have required fields that need to be completed in order to get you from in progress to complete status. And it'll do that for every single section of your URAR. Again, if you're bouncing around, right? If you're building something out in one section and you think of something to go back to the next, it's going to automatically save it, and then you'll be able to reference it later and come back to it. And it'll show you your tracker, your progress here in report tracker. As you get closer to finishing it, it's going to track that report doneness in here until you get to 100% completion. Another feature in here that we're very, very excited about, right? This doesn't look like your finished product. And so we wanted to make sure that at any point in time, you can, with just this information, not going through any of the other sections, you can go through and click on PDF view. And what that's going to do is generate the finished PDF, but with where you're at today. Meaning there's going to be a lot of empty fields in this PDF that I'm about to generate because I didn't fill out a URAR. I allowed the data to persist, and then I answered a couple questions. So we'll see that translate there, but the entire PDF is not going to be complete. So the idea here is any point in time, you click PDF view, you can see where your data is mapping. You can see the progress towards this finished product to give you confidence that we are mapping your data to where it needs to go. So this is a really cool feature. I'm very excited to have this in the platform so that you can, again, go through and make sure things are going where they need to go. This is also really helpful, honestly, for if something's wrong with the form and we need to work on adjusting where something might be going. It's a very quick, easy fix for us to, get within your diagnostics and see, oh, this is where the error is. This field is not mapping here. It's a very quick resolution on our side. So we're very excited about that. And again, like I said, the rest of the PDF doesn't have any information in it. These fields are all blank, but we do see the questions that we did end up answering are checked off here. And now we have a little bit of work to do to refine our PDF, but overall, our beta testers have let us know this is a feature that they very much enjoy. In addition to building out the URAR, right? We go through, we answer some questions, that data is carrying over, it's persisting, but wait, I want to take a look at what it's going to look like in my PDF. I'm able to come over here and get the confidence that my data is mapping to where I expect it to map to. We also are going to have our review master rules running in here. And even before we get to review master rules, right? Because that's you telling the system, hey, run some rules. I want to make sure I'm good to go here. ACI has chosen to integrate with both compliance APIs. Both of the GSEs have their own compliance API. Now, they're almost identical. However, it was really important to us to integrate with both of them, not one or the other, as a safety net. So what's happening in the background for us is when you are going to submit, we are running our compliance APIs to make sure your report is good to go. Because really the goal, one of the goals, I've said so many times, the goal of Workbench. We have so many goals with Workbench, right? But one of the goals with Workbench is to help you be more efficient and reduce those revisions that are coming back, right? Or clarifications, depending on who you're working with, what they're calling them. So we have that layer, right? GSE compliance API. Then we click on review, and it's going to start going through validating the report. Now, in this instance, we'd be here for a very long time because I didn't fill out a lot of the URAR. So I've turned off quite a few different things that would be running. But what you can expect to see here is your fatal errors, what the GSEs refer to as fatal errors, are items that you cannot submit with. You've got to fix these. We need to make some changes, or some warnings, things that you might want to review. They could come back, but technically you could submit without them. And you'll be able to see on one side what those errors are, what the warnings are, and then where you need to go to fix them in order to, alleviate these errors, and then run review again, make sure you're good to go, and go ahead and upload your report to whoever your end client is going to be. So after we go through, we've completed an order, right? We've done. We've gone through building out our URAR, and then we've gone through review. We're good to go. We're going to deliver. I actually have some feedback for ACI based on my experience, and I would like to let them know that I think that this workflow might be a little bit better. So how can I do that? One of the other components that was really critical for us to add into the platform is this feedback modal. And this lives in every user's account. We've definitely heavily been relying on it for beta, but it's not unique to beta. It will remain in the platform in perpetuity, and you will be able to come in here and always tell me, this is where I'm working, right? I was using the image upload tool or the progress tracker. I was using the progress tracker and this didn't work for me. I updated something and I saw no change. This is a problem. Do you have a workaround for that? No, not currently. It's not updating. It's not letting me move forward. Or maybe it's just general feedback. I want to see in ACI Sky Workbench a live chat feature so that when I have a problem, I can talk to someone immediately. I don't have to wait for someone to get back to me. So this feedback modal is just kind of the way to start to collect all of that feedback from everyone in bulk. I know we have Kim noted our innovation council is fantastic, and they absolutely have been leading the way with a lot of this. But every user that we have in this platform, every single user that we're going to get in here, I want your feedback. We need to know exactly what your experience is like, what's working, what's not working. If you have ideas that are unique to your process, we want to hear about them so we can figure out how we can implement solutions for you. So this is, again, the feedback modal I'm very, very passionate about, if you can't tell. And we're very excited to have it within the platform to allow y'all to tell us exactly what it is that you're looking for, what's not working. And then we take that back to the team and we start to roadmap and figure out how we can best go about solving some of the problems that are in there. So I know that was a lot. We covered quite a bit in there. And what you really saw is just a result of countless conversations with appraisers, y'all, and people who have been so incredibly honest with us about what is working, what's not working, what they truly need. And we hear it. Y'all are very honest about ACI hasn't updated their technology in ages. What's happening? We are working on it. I promise we hear you. We know. But point being, the rapport and those relationships have guided every decision that we make. And at the core of it, if you take away anything from this demonstration today, we want to make sure it is that you're in control with our platform. This platform is not here to take the wheel. It's here to give it back to you. You will decide what gets pre-populated. You will decide what workflows make the most sense and how you're going to drive your own efficiency, right? We have very intentionally and deliberately removed a lot of the assumptions that us tech folk tend to make, right? Automate. We could easily do that. And instead of automating your process, we're giving you the tools that allow you to manage large volumes of data without sacrificing any accuracy or wasting your valuable time. So that's why data persistence, right? What I talked about earlier, and that carryover is so critical, and it's baked into this experience because the goal isn't to just help you work faster. It's to help you work smarter, reduce those revisions that come back later, right? We all know those revisions are a burden for everyone, not just appraisers, for the lenders, for the homeowners, everyone involved. And we don't want to go backwards in the process, right? So everything that we are building is grounded in the commitment that is to help you stay in control, increase your efficiency, reduce the friction, while keeping your professional judgment at the center of it all. So with that, I think now is a good time to talk about what your biggest challenges might be in the appraisal industry today. We've got another poll that I'm going to go ahead and throw in here. So we want to know, right? I just said we need your feedback. We got to take our we don't want to be the driver. We want to know exactly what it is that you want to see updated for us. So what's the biggest challenge in the appraisal process for you today? Is it time management? Is it technology? Is it your client expectations? Understanding 3.6 potentially? I see results coming in. Kind of a tie right now. Understanding 3.6. Oh, it changed. It was understanding 3.6 and client expectations, but it looks like understanding UAD 3.6 is definitely taking the lead here. And what I would say to that is you're participating in these, right? So you're taking the steps, and that's fantastic. There's so much content on the GSE's websites too, right? There's so much content. Everything that we use to build this is all public information on the GSE's websites. I mean, it's hundreds of pages, and we read that part, so you don't have to. But if you want to familiarize yourself with the samples, what's expected, they have a 4-hour training course on there that is super helpful. So if you fit that D bucket, I would highly, highly, highly suggest continuing to immerse yourself in the knowledge base that's out there, and taking that 4-hour course. And you can take it at your own pace. You can stop and go on. I think it's 17 sections, I want to say, but it's beefy. It's great. And I know there's tons of continuing education courses out there. So yep, it looks like understanding UAD 3.6 took the cake at 50%. Wow.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. That demo was fantastic. Much appreciate your time. And that was super informative. The whole time that you were demoing, I was feverishly typing and answering a lot of questions. Quite a few have been coming in, and I see them continuing to stream in. And we do not have a whole lot of time here, folks. So I want to encourage you, if you do have questions, we're going to try to answer as many as we can here in the next few minutes. If we can't get to it, please email us, workbench@aciweb.com. I put that email address in the chat. You guys should be able to see it. Reach out to us. That goes to me, it goes to Evelyn, and it goes to a few other folks in our department. And we'll make sure that we get a response back to you. If you want a private demo, join our beta program, please reach out to us, workbench@aciweb.com. All right, Evelyn, let's dive into question time. Okay. So there were a few questions that were popping in while you were doing your demo about data. Okay. Where is the data coming from? How is it integrated into Workbench, right? Like we have a couple of solutions that are pulling that data into Workbench. Is it required? Do appraisers have to use it, or can they use their own data or manually type in their information if they would prefer?
Sure. Great question. So I'll start with the latter portion of it. Again, I will lean on, we're not forcing anything in this platform. If you want to manually enter in other data that you're pulling in from a different source, you absolutely can do that. We're also in the works of integrating with other platforms as well, right? We've heard from a lot of users. I use DataMaster, I use True Footage, True Tracks. So we're definitely having conversations to make sure we're integrating into the platform what users want to see. As far as what we are offering, where the data is coming from, I referenced for being, part of the First American family and pulling in that data. I think I noted Data Tree, which is one of the products that we are fully integrated within the platform, which is pulling in subject property data and sales and listings data. So that's going to be public record data as well as MLS data. And again, we will display to you what that source is within the platform.
Thank you. Thank you. So we also have some additional questions about compatibility. So since it's a cloud-based solution, it's kind of available everywhere, right? So there's not a dependency anymore.
Yes.
But maybe touch briefly about, the different devices that appraisers can use Workbench on, and then maybe a mobile application.
Yeah, absolutely. So Because we took the cloud-based route, it's very different than the experience with ACI Report, right? It's at your desktop. You have to use that machine. This is the license with this machine, so on and so forth. This is not the experience with ACI Sky Workbench. Because this is a cloud-based solution, you can access it from anywhere. It's compatible with all devices, Android, Apple, if you're using a tablet, right? If you're at your desktop, if you're using your phone. I don't know who wants to fill out a URAR on their phone, but if you want to, you absolutely can. And then our mobile application, if you haven't used it before, SureStep Mobile. This is something that we are giving a major upgrade and facelift to, right? Not only are we upgrading it to include the 3.6 inspection kind of data points that would allow you to seamlessly integrate between the two worlds, right? If I use SureStep Mobile to inspect, I expect that data to go into Workbench. So that absolutely is something that we're working on to make sure that's ready to go for everybody. But also enhancing it to include a lot more features like scanning tools within there, and just a lot of really exciting things for users that I can't dive in too much about, but mobile will be fully integrated with this platform. It's not required to use at all. You don't have to use it if you don't want to use it. If you prefer to manually enter in your data, you absolutely can do that. But also referencing compatibility, you can access this anywhere. It does require, obviously an internet connection. However, we are incorporating offline capabilities. That way that data will sync back up when you do get within reception area.
Perfect. Thank you. Much appreciated. So we have a couple of more questions. It looks like some folks are asking about like office capabilities, invoicing, managing multiple orders in an office, the ability for appraisers to kind of share files amongst each other, like if you have a trainee or a supervisor. So I'll let you take this one again. What's that going to look like?
Yeah, I'm so excited that people are asking these types of questions, because we're in lockstep with what it is that we're working on. And that's absolutely making sure that Workbench is collaborative, right? If someone's filling out a URAR in this account, maybe there was a different report that someone needed to review the data on, or there was significant assistance, and that trainee needs to go in and sign the report while I'm over here working on this report. So those are all things that we're absolutely working on, and making sure that Workbench can be that collaborative space for everyone in the same office. We're absolutely incorporating those features into the platform.
Thank you. A few more questions about cloning. Now, how many webinars have we done, Evelyn?
At least, I want to say at least 12. At least. And this question always.
At least. Every single time, it never fails. Cloning is always the hot topic that comes in. I mean, there's quite a few folks that are asking about cloning. So I'm gonna let you take this one, girl.
Yeah. I always get very sweaty when this question comes up. And if I'm grateful that we do these webinars, because I'm always scared people are going to throw tomatoes at me. But when we think about cloning and the intent of cloning, why we're cloning reports, it's because it's making the process easier, right? It's making it a little bit more efficient for us. We can change things in there, because what ACR report is today is not super efficient, if we're just being honest here. And so to answer the question directly, we will not be making cloning features within ACI Sky Workbench, because a large part of why UAD 3.6 is being implemented is to support the fact that no two appraisals are the same. Not at all. They should be unique. They are unique, and we need to treat them as such. However, what we are implementing into the platform are tools that help make the process more efficient, right? So having the repository for your clients, your lenders, AMCs that you work with all the time, nobody wants to manually enter that in at every report, right? So that will be stored in your profile. That way, when you start a new URAR, you're just adding in the, like you'll click from a list. That's the AMC this is for. That's the lender this is for. That's the client this is for. Same thing with neighborhood boundaries, right? I've worked in this neighborhood before. I want to know if I've used comparables before. How often did I use those comparables? Like, those are the tools and the features that we're working on building in this platform. So ideally, the need for cloning is no longer relevant with this tool.
Thank you. So the next questions, I'll take this one, Evelyn. So we have a couple of questions about our roadmap, pricing. And so just want to touch on this briefly. Okay. Guys, Workbench is yours. If you're an ACI customer, Workbench is included in your subscription, the end. So again, we encourage you, please sign up for our beta program, because then you can get your hands into this solution today. You can get familiar with it, used to it. You know how to complete the URAR. You're giving us feedback all the way up until the goal line. And then you're ready to go, right? Like you'll be golden to be able to start producing those URARs for your customers come September 8th, whenever we go into limited production. So yes, coupon on the screen. Thank you so much, Jim. You're awesome. Sign up, join us. We welcome you. Absolutely. But yes, Workbench is included in all ACI subscriptions. Roadmap. So somebody asked if we're going to be retiring ACI report. You guys don't want to keep that desktop solution around for like the next 20 more years? Come on, guys. That thing works great. No, yeah, we're absolutely retiring it. So our plan is to, Workbench is designed for the new UAD 3.6. It's meant to accommodate the requirements from the GSEs for this new initiative. That said, it's a platform that we built as a foundation, right? That's why we started from scratch. If we would have built something on top of our existing software, that probably would have got you maybe the next couple of years, but then what, right? How are you going to be able to keep up with how quickly technology is advancing in this industry? You won't be able to. And so we wanted Workbench to be that foundation that's like a clean slate. It's designed for 3.6, but once we get out of limited production, we're going to start pulling in all of those legacy appraisal forms. So the 1004, 2055, general purpose, right? Because only originations are impacted by this new UAD initiative. All of those default appraisal forms, that's all still going to be here. And so we're going to be pulling all of those into Workbench. We're also pulling in Canadian forms as well. So for any of our Canadian customers, yes, Workbench will be yours. Quick shout out, we are launching a Canadian Innovation Council. So if you're interested, you want to make a difference, you want to join us and give us your feedback and help us design this solution specifically for Canada, please reach out to us. You can reach out at workbenchaciweb.com. We'll get you along to the proper folks here. But yeah, please join us. So roadmap, Workbench, end all be all, ACI's flagship for appraisal solutions moving forward. The desktop solution that we have in place today, that ultimately will be retiring once we move all of that information into Workbench so that you guys have all of the tools that you need in one place. You don't have to bounce around and go to multiple different solutions. Did I miss anything there, Evelyn?
No, you covered that beautifully.
All right, so we only have a couple more minutes. We want to give you guys a little bit of time back in your day. And so let me just grab one more question. There are some questions, Evelyn, about maybe just touch on the beta program. What are the expectations? What's the timeline? What does that look like, right? Maybe just kind of go over that briefly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know Kim noted at the top of the webinar that we have been in beta since April, and that list continues to grow for interested participants, which is fantastic.
Hundreds.
Great problem for us to have, right? Literally hundreds. So for those of you, if you are on this call and you have sent the, hey, I want to be part of your beta program, there are some, kind of admin, housekeeping items that we do have to send out to you. We will send over an NDA for completion. If you complete that, you're good to go with it. Then we send next steps, which is going to be getting some sort of communication from me, which is letting you know when our kickoff call is going to be. I actually have another kickoff call starting, I believe this week. And also another meeting with a different round of beta testers. So lots of conversations going, but we have the kickoff call. Once you have that kickoff call, you get access into the platform. I let you know how to go through our authentication and authorization platform just to make sure everything's secure, right? For you as a user. Then you can start creating orders. You'll get a list of features that are ready for you to test. You'll get a list of known issues that we're trying to work through. You'll have access to that feedback mode modal so you can let us know what's working, what's not. And then we meet weekly, actually, to go through. I will spend about 20 minutes giving you an update on new features that are now on the platform for you to test, answer any questions that I see come through on the feedback modal. For example, sometimes users will say, hey, this isn't working quite right. And I can give a demo of, well, we're not using the feature entirely correctly. Let me show you how to use it. But that's still great feedback to make sure that we upgrade it to make it a little bit more intuitive for you. So that's a weekly call that we have, about 20 minutes for me going through updates, then 10 minutes for Q&A. And then again, that list is updated for you. So you know what features are live, what are some known issues, what's getting released, what's coming up. And that's a weekly call. So yeah, lots of communication for me. So if that's something that you're, not excited about, sorry, but we are very much constantly communicating with our beta testers, right, to upgrade and implement new features here. So we're very much live. If you're interested, there's so many email addresses. Kim, keep me
Workbench at aciweb.com. It's ingrained in my brain. Yes. Workbench at aciweb.com. Yes. And as Evelyn said, join us at any time. We are currently in our beta 2. We're about to kick off beta 3, but that doesn't mean you missed the boat. So we can get you in and include it at any point in time. I did want to mention briefly that we will have training that is coming out in August as well. We'll be doing some comprehensive training. So if you don't want to join our beta program, that's fine. We will have comprehensive training that's coming out in August for appraisers. If we started training you now, you would completely forget everything come September. So we want to make sure it's very concentrated right up into a little closer to the time that we go live. You guys are going to hear it here first. So if you join our beta program, you get a participation certificate that you can provide to any AMCs that you work with to let them know that you were a participant in our testing program. So you know how to use our software to complete the URAR, upload your photos, add your documents, anything that would involve that URAR, run your compliance API checks. It's all on that little certificate. You can give that to an AMC because I know that they are, they want that warm and fuzzy that their appraisers are ready. And so that's something that we want to help you guys out with. And then with that, I will close by saying Miss Evelyn is doing a CE course at OCAP. If anyone is going to be attending, that's coming up here in a couple of weeks in Ohio. Please go and say hi. Be nice to her. She works really hard. And then we will also be at Val Expo in August. Please come by and say hi to us. I think I'm going to be doing a speaking engagement with the GSEs there. And then we also have Evelyn that's going to be doing some live in-person training on Workbench. So it's a great opportunity to get some face time and really get your hands-on experience with our actual product manager there teaching you through all of the steps. And then we'll also be at Appraisal Summit. So come by and see us.
Thank you, Kim. That's what I was going to hop on and say is you can come see them in person at Evaluation Expo and Appraisal Summit. But you guys did such a great job on this webinar. You've answered all these questions. There was 100 questions and I saw them all coming through and I saw Kim taking care of them while we were going. I thought that was awesome. We really appreciate everybody joining us. Kim and Evelyn, you did a great job. I think it's going to be very informative for anybody that's interested.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Jim. Appreciate this opportunity. You guys are always so great to us. And thank you so much for the audience for, sticking it out and your awesome questions. There's still quite a few questions that we didn't get to, but,
Yeah,
email
what's
us.
that email again? If anybody has questions that we didn't get to, it's workbench@aciweb.com. So there you go.
And I did just sneak in one last poll. I know we talked about all of these features that we are working on, but I'd love to hear from the audience what is most important to you for features that ACI should be prioritizing. We got that collaboration suite, right, where different users in your office can be in the report at the same time. Our live chat feature, I know a lot of folks love that with our solutions, our ACI report, implementing that into ACI Sky Workbench, and then more AI features. I see that one very heavily taking the lead quickly. So
very cool.
All right, sounds good.
Loud and clear.
Thank you all very much. We'll see you soon.
Thanks everyone. Everybody.